at your funeral, no emotion conveyed. It was drawn out in vain, and the idiot I am just figured in the wake of your leave that I'd never hear from you again. And then I'd say, with all this feeling, that your spirit would afford me. My head on heart, it's not a thing that I've been dreaming of, and it goes without my blessing. It leaves me on road, but it comes and goes. It shows me all I'm missing, and it comes and goes. I was there in the backstage trying, but the words they never came. And I was available for a statement, but I just hung my head in shame. It felt nothing to me, all the ceremony I'd wasted. And I thank them and leave and say God bless you all, good night. And then I'd think the grave was turning, and then nothing would absorb me. My head on heart, it's not a thing that I've been dreaming of, and it throws me without warning. It leaves me in the dust, but it comes and goes. It fills me when I'm empty, then it comes and goes, and I won't need it when it's gone.
All right, how are we doing?
Good.
Good? Excellent. Everyone else?
Oh, good.
Good, thanks.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wicked. I put that song on to get me in the mood because I'm feeling a little bit nervous about today, but that is good. Leading by example, stepping into uncertainty like the rest of you. And the reason that I am feeling a little bit nervous is that this QuestLab month 2 setup is not something that we have done before. This space that we're going to occupy over the next 4 weeks is really our first experiment in what this kind of idea of a community powered studio can look like. It kind of has that phrase on the Channel 12 website, and it wasn't really because that's what it was at the time. It was more kind of imagining what it could be.
Vision.
Exactly. It was visioning. I was talking it into existence. So here we are, living it. And this space was kind of born out of noticing a pattern. Well, actually, there's 2 levels to it. I suppose that personally, with my own history of creative quests, it's not only been about learning new things, meeting new people. It's all of the kind of exploratory aspects that encapsulated in a quest. I found that process in itself is a very sort of inspirational process, and has often left me with sort of burning ideas that I want to bring to life. And I didn't quite know if that was going to be the case for other people when we did the pilot last year, but there was definitely a pattern in last year that some people were reaching the end of their learning journeys over a month and were filled with inspiration and ideas that they wanted to bring to life, Sparks and Todd. And they couldn't because a new theme was starting. And I don't want to feel like we're getting in the way of people that want to bring ideas to life, because that's what we want to do, right? We're creative people. We want to have ideas, sit with them, work with them, and bring them out into the world. So yeah, that's what this is. Although Creative Quest, the heart is really exploration, we want to make space for longer term projects and practices to come from it too. So in true Creative Quest fashion, we're jumping into the unknown, and with the QuestLab, and trusting that the net will appear. Or I suppose probably a better metaphor would be that that we can design and make the net over this month before we splat on the ground. The vibe of this month will be quite different to month 1. These sessions are much less about inspiration and challenges. It's much more about conversations, ideating, and holding space for ideas to emerge. So these sessions are going to be much slower in pace. There's going to be much more chance for you to speak to other people. And between sessions 1 and 2, after Tiz and I have had a chance to process where everyone is at in the group, you know, in terms of if you have an idea that you want to explore, or maybe you've just kind of got a curiosity, or maybe you kind of just wanted to see what happens. Over the course of, between weeks 1 and weeks 2, we're going to actually organize the group into smaller groups of 3 and 4. So you will have a dedicated breakout room that you will come to each week. So you'll have a smaller group of people that are much more intimately invested in your journey, I suppose. Not to say that the rest of the group won't be. We'll still have time in the main room and everybody will still be on the same Slack. But I think it's helpful just to have people that are a little bit more closely connected to the thing that you're doing. So these sessions might represent different things for different people. Some might need them for ideation. Some might need them for accountability. You know, maybe you're a person that in the first session of last month said that they were joining this because they wanted to actually see projects through because they were having problems, you know, or having stumbling blocks at actually getting projects ideated and made and put out into the world. So accountability is a big part of this. We're giving you the space and the time to work on these things and make them happen. Some of us might need this space for cheerleading or community. You know, that's certainly been a big part for me in creating projects, is that if I don't feel like I've got enough community around me or enough people kind of just like cheering me on saying I can do it, it's very often doesn't happen. And very likely we're probably all going to need all of the above as well. So yeah, I'm really, really excited to see what happens over the next 4 weeks and what projects might emerge. You know, even last year in the pilot, when we didn't have the kind of QuestLab, there was some amazing stuff that came out. You know, top of mind being Annie's Laugh Scarf, which was a wicked project that came out of the poetry exploration, and another one, Sparks and Todd's immersive poetry box, which is still making its way around the world currently a year later. Both wicked projects, and I really, really hope that this space can breathe more diverse, wicked, cool, immersive projects out into the world. And that's kind of it for now. I'd be really interested if for the next bit of this session, we went around the room and, much like session 1 of last month, each of us can kind of talk about where we're at in terms of, you know, what you obviously reintroduce yourself, because there actually might be some people in this group that you haven't even come across yet because they might have been in the other group. So tell us who you are again. And also, if you have a clear idea of what you want to do, tell us what your idea is. If you don't, but you kind of have a curiosity about certain areas, just tell us what resonated over the course of Collage last month. And if you have no idea, you can say whatever you like. But yeah, just talk about the things that you enjoyed last month, maybe. And yeah, everyone will have 90 seconds or so. I'd love to get a reading though of who in this room kind of has an idea, even if it's like a half idea that they would like to explore. Just good to see some hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, that's a fair amount. That's cool. Okay, would you also be able to do the little like hand thingy on here too in the reactions if you think you have an idea? Because I think we're going to start with the people that have their hands up, and then maybe through the process of other people talking through ideas, maybe some of the people that are less clear might kind of get some inspiration. Wicked. Okay, cool. Before we get going, is there any questions before we start sort of re-meeting the group? No? Okay, cool. All right, I'm going to do this in the order that I see it on my screen, which is Maya first. So over to you, Maya. Reintroduce yourself and let us know what you're thinking for the QuestLab this February.
All right. Hi, everyone, new faces and old. My name is Maya. I'm based in Boston. My day job is sort of toggling between product management and user research, which I've been doing in like a consulting capacity, freelance capacity for the last year and a half or so. And I have two half ideas for what I could do this month. The first one I've been thinking about for a while, which is I've been really intrigued by this idea of like what a post-work utopia could look like, or rather a utopia where we just like redefine what work is and what our relationship to work is. So one idea around collage is like using that to visualize and kind of think through the kind of what ifs and gotcha questions that come up when people try to visualize utopic ideas of work. And then the second idea, which I thought of today, is creating an Instagram account where every image is a collage between like the aspirational self that we, and like the perfectly curated self that we want to portray to the world, and the like mirror kind of flip side, honest, non-aspirational self that we want to portray to the world. But each of that is like in the same picture, you're seeing both of those things. And so like it would be kind of a curation of these collaged images where each is like sort of the real and the fake, or the real and the aspirational, or however you want to put it. To sort of, because I think like those are two tugs I see in myself. Like I can't help but sort of like be drawn to like the perfectly curated images on Instagram, and then also feel like that's not real. And so kind of as a way to make sense of those like conflicting emotions.
Amazing. Those are both two wicked ideas. Thank you, Maya. God, I feel like I could just have like a full conversation on that. We've got a lot of people to get through. Definitely, if there's any ideas that jump out to you within this group, obviously, please keep notes of what people are saying, because a big part of this will be about hopefully collaborating with each other. And also, you know, even if you're not collaborating, contributing ideas and energy towards other people's projects. So if something resonates, write it down and, you know, drop them a note afterwards. Anna, you're up next.
You can call me Ana Maria, or you can call me Annie.
Anna Maria, there you go.
Ana Maria or Annie. Well, actually, like I actually wrote a post about this. My name is Ana Maria, but you can call me Annie. Ana Maria is the businesswoman, is the, you know, the grown up, kind of, almost grown up, the mom and the person in charge, right? And Annie is the child within who plays and still wants to be artist. So there's that. I don't know who Anna is, but maybe she's a mix of both. So let's see. Or actually, I was thinking it's A and I written. It is a very good name, Annie. So yeah, I was actually even considering Annie Maria. And actually, this brings forth one of the themes that I want to explore, which is the concept of the constructed identity, all the little pieces that makes us who we are, or who we think we are, right? And by through this to go through to what matters a lot to me, which is individual centered diversity, because you know, all those things that maybe we think like we're different or we're weird, or this brings so much to the world. And if we put those out in the light and accept them within us and talk about them and shout about them, and be kind about them, the world would be such a better place, right? So that's one of the things. And the other one, which mixes in, right, is love. It's February, and we have a restaurant here in Costa del Sol as well, and we're celebrating Valentine's Day, right? So love is all in my head. But it ties into it with self-love. And as you know, I came here with at the invitation of Rose, who said, I had a post and I wanted to love myself more. And she said, why don't you join this? And actually it did help a lot. So self-love, but the radical kind of self-love, when you love those things that you actually really, really, really hate about yourself. So that will be an interesting one. It came out again in the last workshop. So now I think I've talked too much, but yes, that's it. Thank you.
That's epic. That really is taking collage from a very, very different angle. That idea of constructed identity, and I mean, there's almost a kind of like the links with Maya's there. The kind of, you know, the self you present and the self that's true. There's definite overlaps there.
Totally.
Thank you, Anna Maria / Annie / I guess we'll see.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Irina.
Hey, hi everyone. It's great seeing you, and hopefully get to meet some new people today. I don't recognize everyone's name. So I'm based in London, and my day job is learning designer. So I work in education at the university, but I also study sociology and film. I worked in like a few creative projects in the past, but that was, I'm even using like air commas. That was like so long ago. It's time with this project. I'm really excited to just have my own baby again, and be vulnerable. And I guess I'm really looking forward to working on just, I think related to what Annie, you were saying, just being a bit, you know, just having that self-love with what I create and how that's not going to match my taste or what I have in my head, because it's been, you know, over 6 years since I devoted so much time to creativity and bringing things to life. So I have not even a half an idea at this stage. It's more, I've got some things in my head around using audio and having like an audio collage / mini documentary. I know I want to talk to my closest friends, involve them, but also maybe some new friends as well. And I'm really interested in the stories we tell to each other, things that shape our reality, our you know, specific like mental models we have about just, yeah, things that are important to us in our life. And I think this audio collage would be like a micro universe that captures, it's like a snapshot in, you know, February 2022 of what's in the minds of these people. So that's as far as I got to, and I'm really looking forward to developing it more with you and hearing about all your lovely ideas. Amazing ideas, Maya and Annie and everyone else.
That is epic. I'm very excited to see how that one develops. I think this time is a very collagey, mixed feelings time for everybody, and to be able to capture that, especially within your friendship group, would be really really special. Thanks, Irina. Roz.
Hi, I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
Okay, cool. I've got a funny thing on my screen. So great to meet all of you who I don't know yet. I know most of you, I think. I am really, I was going to do QuestLab and then I changed to QuestLab at the last minute because I realized something that would be really fun to look at doing, that Sam and Tiz mentioned that they might be looking at doing some type of event, and all of a sudden my mind went all over the place. And I would actually like to see if I could initiate something either working in something that you guys already have planned, or I would love to collaborate with some other people over here in England who are able to get to London at some stage and maybe pull together some type of dinner experience thing that's not just eating, but based on experiencing collage, and collaborate with a bunch of you. So I'm just going to put that out there that I don't fully know how my idea would look, but I'd like it to involve collaging our skills together and maybe creating some type of experience, which could go in any direction. It might be a little thing of 30 minutes. It might be something more drawn out. I don't know, but I would like to work in a lab setting with a bunch of you in some way. So still not sure. And I guess we have to hear a bit more about what you guys have planned as well, Sam and Tiz, but that's what I would like to work on this month.
Yeah, well, everybody fly in for the collage dinner party. Yeah, that sounds great. Obviously, yeah, would love to have you help out Tiz and I on this event. Yeah, for anyone in London or anyone that fancies flying across the world, we're looking at doing a collage kind of pop-up event in London in the last weekend of Feb. That will be a kind of some kind of, you know, an experience that has lots of mini collage experiences in it. At the moment, we're thinking that perhaps there's like a 90-minute sort of like well curated experience that people can sort of attend in time slots rather than a kind of just like random thing that people can turn up to whenever they like. Yeah, but the venue that we were looking at unfortunately got back to us about 10 minutes before this call and said that they can't do it. So we're on the lookout for a space.
Come to space. Come to space.
Come to space.
Spain. To Spain.
Space is, I mean, that would be great. I'd love to host a collage.
Come to my space.
Got any hookups in space? Let us know, Elon Musk. Okay, awesome. Roz, let's pick up this conversation. Hannah.
Hey everyone. Okay, I have two ideas that I'm working through and I'm realized I haven't really vocalized them yet, so bear with me. And they're sort of on different ends of the spectrum. But one idea that honestly, since the first breakout room with Sparks and Todd, when we were doing our word mapping, I feel like it was so interesting how like little kitty and arts and craftsy and like kitschy, immature was coming up in a lot of realms for collage. But then on the other hand, and especially through this exploration, like collage can actually be super like subversive and provocative. And so I feel like that tension is so interesting to me. And so this is a weird idea where I'm like, am I going crazy? But I think that means maybe pursue it. So I got this really cool, it's like vintage pinup magazine. And so that feels like subversive. And I don't know, are we allowed to share this on Zoom, Sam? But like this feels subversive. And then I was like, okay, what's the most like little kitty thing ever? And like macaroni art and glitter came to mind. So is there a world in which I combine? And I actually started playing around with it and I don't know where I put it in my apartment. So like, is it like macaroni art? I don't know. I don't know exactly what it looks like, but like with erotica in some way. So that's one Wacko project that I want to explore because I think it's too weird to not. Yes, macaroni boots, Ross, macaroni boots. I was playing around with orzo, but it kind of came off like really sunflowery. So if anyone has pasta shaped ideas, I'll welcome them. So that's one idea. And I thank the QuestLab for bringing me there. My other idea, which is a little more serious, in the reflection that I was filling out on that Google form, I was sort of stream of conscious going, and I feel like there's something really interesting with collage in rethinking what already exists. And so I sort of came up with, or this question came into my head of like, can we collage a better world? Like, what if we just take the parts of things that we really like and put them together in new and interesting ways? So I don't know exactly how that comes to life, but I think there's something really interesting with like collage as social change, or like collage to drive social change. And like, I don't know if that's like a zine. I don't know if that's like a workshop activity or something, but I feel like there could be something interesting for like innovation, social change, and like collage as the lens through which we like reimagine a world that's better for more people.
Wow.
And that's it.
That is a spectrum of ideas you got there.
I know. I was like thinking, how the hell am I going to intro this morning?
I think you've already got the language for that. I mean, I think you raised a good point, is that, you know, people shouldn't feel like they should have the full developed language for their ideas yet. You know, that will come, but I think you described that really, really well. The spectrum from macaroni art erotica right through to collaging, you know, new futures. That's awesome. Somewhere in the middle of that is Creative Quests. That's awesome. Thank you, Hannah. Raquel.
I'm just enjoying everybody right now. I'm enjoying, I'm laughing a lot, really enjoying the creativity, all the ideas. You know, I can tell, I feel like I'm with a lot of people around me who are much more creative than I am. And I'm so excited because I know I have such a boring, well, I don't know, I'm not boring, but I would love to work with some of you to kind of shake me up a little bit. I'm noticing that. This has come up a couple of times. So I'm a communication coach trainer. That's kind of what I do. And one of my the things, and I think I mentioned this beforehand, is this listening topic is a big topic for me. And but put that aside, one of the things that's come up here is this whole thing with NFTs. And I have no clue. And I talked to my son about this, and I think to myself, he tells me I keep talking about it, I'm not doing anything about it. So I was wondering if in this group there'd be people who'd like to work with me to do something about it. And I have no idea how collaging would work in that world. But listening to you guys, I could imagine something with art or visuals and audio somehow together, because I think you can do both on an NFT. I'm not sure. So I'd love to do something there. It does not have to be with the listening topic, but it can, and it can be for a better world. But sometimes I have this, I'd like to learn and imagine collaging. And if it is with the listening, one of the things about this listening piece is it seems so little, but it's actually so big and so multi-layered, and it has its vulnerabilities, and it has its power and lack of power. There's so much involved in there, and maybe there's ways that I'm thinking about it that I can tell between sex and macaroni. You probably have things in mind that I haven't thought of yet. If there was some playful people. So being playful and NFTs, and if it's with listening, it's great. And if not, it's no big deal.
Wicked. There's definitely some other people in this group that are curious about NFTs, including myself. So that's awesome. Thank you, Raquel. Moira.
Oh, hi, can you hear me?
Yep.
Cool. So my idea is it's not a subject matter for collage. I've been writing down a few of those, but what I was thinking that so Roz and I met in real life, and we actually discovered we both liked having these kind of I don't know, kind of collage dinner parties, but like bringing things together. One of the things I did was a secret salad society. You had to bring a salad, which is a kind of collage of a meal, if you think about it. It's like putting different things together. But it's more of a context. I want to do collage in person somehow. So that could be, creating an event, bringing people together. It could be perhaps the collage care book, which I haven't looked at, but like, creating an event where people did something that was from that book, or any of these, constructing an identity, or cute versus subversive. And it was something, I think I was inspired by the this idea that all of these collage collectives, that sort of, that it's like we like to bring little things together on a page and stick them down, but we also like to kind of gather together. And so it's not a form thing, and I'm not sure how it's going to be, but I want to do something in real life. And I haven't introduced myself. So hello, I'm Moira, and I live in Brighton in the UK, and I am an artist, a painter. I do something called wild art journaling, which is it does involve collage and painting. And I am also a productivity coach. So that's me. And that's my idea.
That's a very cool observation around sort of the collective nature being in the sort of DNA of collage, because collage is about bringing disparate, you know, things together. I think that's cool, and was also very struck by the sort of collective nature that has popped up around collage. If you haven't had a look at the Collage website, there's a big collage collective directory that's somewhere in the communal journal if you haven't come across that. Oh, and also big up to Moira, because Moira has extended her creative quest for the rest of this year. She's committing Seeky 365. Big up yourself. Love that. Awesome.
I'm all in.
Wicked. Letitia.
Hello, I'm Letitia. I live in Brooklyn, New York. And as you've probably noticed from the Slack, I've been very excited about this idea of doing an NFT. And that was even before I kind of came across the project that I put in the Slack or the Zoom chat, which very much is kind of collage-y in spirit. So there's just something really interesting about that. And I think in terms of executing it, you know, pretty open to doing anything from something on the simpler side to something a little more complex, like the one that I put in there, or even potentially layering other things like audio and whatnot, like Raquel had mentioned. The other good news I shared in Slack was that my partner is a VP of engineering, and so he actually knows how to do coding, and I've maybe convinced him, it sounds like, to potentially do sort of the coding aspect of what an NFT project would require. And so, yeah, really excited just about kind of exploring that space further, since there's so much energy there for a lot of artists and other creative people.
Amazing. You can lead the charge on our NFT exploration. Awesome. Thank you, Letitia. Emily.
Hello, I'm Emily. I'm a writer based in London. It's so interesting listening to everyone's ideas. Like, my mind is literally blown already. Yeah, I don't really know what I want to do specifically for my idea. I quite like the idea of being involved in the pop-up event as and when that happens. I'd quite like to, I'm a bit obsessed with this idea that everyone sees the world through a different lens, or, you know, the whole sort of like idea of creative quests, and the idea that when you have a different lens on or in, you see things differently. And so I want to try and do something around collage that involves collage packs, so that everyone is given the same sort of like 20 pieces of collage and then makes them up differently. A little bit inspired by Todd and Sparks's project that they actually did, where they kind of ended up posting the project like around the world. I don't know whether it would be something that runs in the event, or whether in a way to involve everyone sort of like around the world, sort of posting various different packs that are made up by different people, and then just taking photos of the collage effect, just to see how differently people perceive the same sort of 20 pieces of collage, and to see how different a sort of picture or visualization people have of the same thing. Something around that. Yeah, I quite like the idea of keeping it to like cutting and sticking, but at the same time, I'm very intrigued by all of the NFT stuff that people are talking about. So yeah, I could kind of go in any direction, really. That's it.
That's awesome. Can totally imagine that at the pop-up, a collage pack corner. Totally. People, yeah, seeing how those different things develop would be from the same source material would be pretty fascinating. Awesome. Thank you, Emily. Aliena.
Hi, I'm Aliena. I live in Berlin. And I wanted to do the QuestLab just because I wanted to also know what it was like to do a 2-month-long quest. I've done the 1 month, and I wanted to see what sort of happens in the second month when you apply yourself for those extra 30 days, see what happens. I tend to be a bit of an overthinker, so my idea is actually much more hands-on because I tend to let abstract thoughts get away from me, and I go into, yeah, complete overthinking mode. So to avoid that, I wanted to actually draw on, so if you remember in the chat, Aggie had said that her whole life feels like a collage, and Aggie is my mother. And so by default, my life feels like a collage. And Germany is the 11th country that I'm living in as a resident. And so to bring that all together, I was thinking, because I spent some time in the States as well, and there's so much sports spirit in America, which I really miss, but I always kind of took that along with me. And so I'm always one for getting a t-shirt everywhere I go. And I've collected lots of t-shirts along the way. So I've got like the full moon party in Thailand. I've got a middle school trip to San Francisco. I've got Ladakh, the northern part of India, the Himalayas. I've got climbing the Great Wall of China. So I've got literally like a whole bag of t-shirts. I think there's like 35 t-shirts. And basically I want to make a t-shirt quilt. So what I want to do is like cut up all the t-shirts, work on my sewing a little bit. And I've spoken to Annie already for some sewing tips, but I'm going to definitely pick your brain a bit more, Annie. And if anyone else knows how to make a quilt, then please let me know. But I also just like the idea of having something tangible at the end of it, and also something that I can really wrap around myself as a reminder of where I've been, what I've done, to keep me warm when it gets a little bit chilly.
That is incredibly cool and extremely wholesome. I absolutely love that. That is so cool. Would love to see all of just see all those different t-shirts on the floor, just to see all the different places that you've been. That is epic. Thank you, Aliena. Diego.
Hello. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. So, well, I'm Diego. I'm in Madrid, Spain. I come also from Rose, as a lot of people here, and well, I study Arabic, and since a long time ago, I didn't use my hands to create things. So, hearing all your ideas, it's so cool. I don't know if I thought so much in it in real projects, more concrete, but I know that this whole month I've been focusing on emotions, and also I met some friends to do collage, and it's a plan that I think it started now, but it will end like I don't know when, because I love meeting my friends and doing collage. It helps me relaxing. So I think maybe I would like to focus more on emotions, and maybe to do it with more people. I agree with Mora. I don't know if I'm pronouncing yeah, Moira. So about doing this but with people, because I think that it moves energies, and it helps moving them and in the emotions. So I want to focus on emotions and doing it with people. And also I have a jacket because I'm collaging my new kind of clothes I'm wearing. So I want to do like a collage with a very big coat I bought, and maybe that will be an individual collage. But for the rest, emotions, and yeah, focusing on this potential of collage. That's
amazing. I'm loving the collage energy that you're radiating right now, Diego. I can feel the passion. That's exciting. So hang on, you want to make an actual coat or you mean like a kind of a vision of one on paper? Or
so I have a very big vintage coat, like very big, and it's white. So maybe I can. It's very beautiful already, but yeah, I want to transform it and yeah, to express something, because maybe when people see this kind of clothes that are vintage but actually doesn't look like the others because it's unique, maybe people can, I don't know, it can make change also how people wears in the street. So
we're here for it. Diego, autumn winter 2022, we're there. Awesome, thanks Diego. Look forward to seeing how that one evolves. Annie.
I feel so distracted. Like this is like so amazing that I can't even believe that there's so many great thinkers in here. My first thought though, I actually just need to put it out there, like this whole like sexy pasta thing. There's definitely like puntastic names. Penne is in there somewhere. I don't know how else to put these together, but like there is definitely something in that. Like I hope that Hannah, you go for exploring that. Like I'm so intrigued. That's brilliant. Yeah, oh God, I feel like there's so many things. I know this is going to take some time, I think, to sort of knuckle down because I'm so inspired by all these questions. But for me, my process for like trying to figure out what I could do this month went back to like me re-exploring the stuff that I did at the beginning. And I came across an article very, very at the beginning of this quest, which described collage as like a subversive art form and like collage as protest. And I think there's something in that. And when I'm thinking again about like, I'm also like interested in potentially doing quilts because it's a project I've kind of wanted to do, and you know, maybe that's also a form of collage in some way. So definitely into that, like making something physical with my hands. There is something that a group that I'd kind of sent to Aliena because she'd kind of expressed that she was into this idea, was this quilting group as well, who also sees like quilting as like there's a real history, rich history behind that as also a form of protest, like a resistance art form. And I think there's something in this kind of realm that I want to explore, that even as I was just like thinking about all the different things that I've taken away out of exploring collage for the last month, that there's so many lessons that I'm just like, I want to compile somehow, maybe in some kind of like zine format, to sort of like take from the lessons that I've learned doing collaging, but also the ones that you guys have also come across during your explorations. But like Sam in particular, like the way that you've kind of expressed or like created these TikToks of stuff, of like turning things around or like giving yourself new perspectives and things like that. There are really important lessons there, I think, that can help like generate something. There is just something there, and I don't know what it is yet, but there is so many other things. But I think definitely want to get other people in this group involved in contributing in some way. I just think that it needs to be like a physical thing in the end of it. But I'm still exploring, I think. But I just, yeah, there's something here. There's a zine vibe, there's a vibe, there is definitely something. So yeah, any kind of like art in protest, activism in collage, acts of resistance type stuff, like please send them my way, because I think that's the train of thought.
I was in Peckham the other day, which is in South London, for those that don't know London, and walked out Peckham Rise Station, and literally like there was literally just an A4 piece of paper right across the wall, like coming out the station, that just in Sharpie just had @feminist_collages just like slaps on the wall. And yeah, they've got a really, really interesting page that actually sort of speaks to, I think, a lot of the stuff that you're talking about. So definitely check that out. And maybe actually even, look on the Collage website. I think has a really, really great bit on that. And there's another podcast which I'll send to you too, called the Weird Show broadcast, which has some interesting stuff around it, around Black Lives Matter, in collage from that. And there's tons of stuff that I can send you. Awesome. Who hasn't been yet? Vera and Todd and Lisa and Anna and Kat. Okay, cool. I'm just gonna pick one at a time. Mia, do you want to go?
Sure. Prosaic project is every February I do a vision board for the year coming up. So that's mine from last year. And because I really struggled to carve out time for myself. I'm gonna be honest, I'm sort of utilizing this group to be my buddies while I do this year's. So that's the Prosaic project. But a more interesting project is I'm slightly obsessed with smell, which is like the idea of losing it with COVID really terrified me, because I have a really heightened sense of smell. I can smell people from miles away. It's a bit of a joke amongst friends. And I would love, if anybody's a chemist, I would love to find out how to embed something that I could put in a bottle with somebody's smell in it. So like, I'd love to have all my friends smell in a bottle.
Wow. Amazing. That's very cool. I don't know if there's any chemists here, but let's just see where it goes. Thank you, Mia. Kathy?
Hi, everybody. I couldn't decide between the two, this lab and QuestLife, but I wanted to be, I don't know, but I can't think of a better word, but in sexy macaroni, I wanted to be monogamous to something because I'm very promiscuous, like I'm skitter scatter and I'll go from one thing to the next. So partly being here, continuing collage is just, it's unlike me to stay with something for a bit. So I'm glad. And Sam, based on what I wrote, Sam and Tiz were like, be in the QuestLab. So thank you for holding me down to my monogamy to collage. Anyway, so I've had on my desktop on my computer for like 4 years, I've had this file and it's called Angry White Women. And I've just been collecting articles and images of angry white women and around things going on in I'm in the US in the Northeast, around race, around whatever. And so I just, when collage came up, I was like, oh my gosh, I have so many collage shards in this folder on my desktop. So what I'm thinking of doing, and I've been playing with this, I said it in the first meeting, and there's somebody, I think she must be in the other session, who she and I were talking about it, but I have this vision of doing a remix or upending some iconic photographs or historical pictures. So things like you here in the States, I don't know, with the Beatles documentary, I keep seeing that image of the Beatles at Madison Square Garden, and there's all these white women underneath them, like just like dying of love and adoration. And so one of my ideas is to mix that up and take off the Beatles faces and put in like Toni Morrison and Angela Davis, and put in, so just to mix up what are we loving and what are we angry at. And like the some of the images of these white women, it's like they've got spittle and they're yelling at children. And then there's the white tears. So, well, anyway, you're hearing my bias. I'm trying to suppress my attitude about all of that. But anyway, so I don't know quite what it will be, but I'm thinking a lot about, just like mixing up and like a changing of perspective, and using this idea of like how, just white women have been accomplices in so much, and yet, maybe hiding behind white tears and white women's softness. So anyway, I don't know what it is, but it's coming out. So we'll see. We'll see what it turns into.
There's so much in there, and we're totally here for that journey. Thank you, Kathy. Todd.
Hey everybody, I'm Todd. I'm in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I didn't raise my hand for the ideas stuff because I still am not totally sure what I want to do or if there's an idea worth pursuing. But the kind of three that I was kicking around are very similar to ones that other folks have. One would be like taking a space and making some sort of like deconstructing it in terms of like parts on color and visuals and maybe some sort of physical objects, and then like reconstructing it in a collage somehow. Don't exactly know what that would look like. And then another idea would be to create a collage and then create a collage out of that collage, and then a collage out of the collage out of the collage, and then a collage out of the collage out of the collage out of the collage, and just kind of do that for a while and see what happens, like when you Xerox something over and over. And then the other idea that I had that was also pretty similar to one that's already been mentioned would be to have everybody create a set of elements to collage with and then send it around to other people to see how people would like what people wanted to pull together, and then how somebody else would take those elements and like put them together. So that was another one. And yeah, those are what's kind of rolling around in my head.
Awesome. That those are both wicked ideas. There's definitely, yeah, some overlaps with other people here, so for sure speak to them. That collage of a collage of a collage of a collage, I don't know if you saw, I put in the Slack, but there's a magazine that we came across last week called Cut Me Up, which is set up by this woman called Andrea Berge, who we actually might be doing an Instagram live with in a couple of weeks, so fingers crossed. And she set up this magazine called Cut Me Up. The first issue was just exclusively her collages. And then for the second issue, she invited people to take issue 1, her collages, and cut them up, make their own collages, send them in. And then issue 2 was people's collages of her original collages. And issue 3 was collages of issue 2, which were collages of issue 1. And yeah, I think they're like eight issues in now. But yeah, check that out. Awesome. And Lisa.
Hey everyone, I'm Lisa. Yeah, I'm just loving. I also didn't really have a set idea coming into this, so I just wanted to see what came up. But yeah, you guys have got like amazing ideas. I really love the idea of a collage pack. Like all of us, I think there's something either everyone looking at one thing and interpreting it, or like that, all getting the same materials and making something is really, really lovely. I've been playing around with 2 ideas. One actually was it's more personal. It's from a sort of, I was going to say sparked by a conversation I had with Sparks. But this is very personal, but is around the idea of gender, because I'm pregnant and I found out that I'm having a little girl. And it's really exciting, but I was almost right before I fell pregnant, sort of drifting towards really not being that interested in gender, and finally feeling quite free from a more feminine identity. And now obviously I'm kind of going through a process which is incredibly feminized. So I just thought it might be, what I really enjoyed about collage is kind of being forced, like surprising ideas coming out of what you have from the source material, because you know what I mean, you can't really control what's coming out. So I thought that might be a really nice, I thought maybe just as a personal project to kind of keep iterating around these ideas of gender, and probably leaning a bit more towards femininity, but just to kind of see what happens if you just like chew on it and chew on it and chew on it and see what comes out. So yeah, that was my one idea. But yeah, I'm still feeling really open. I love everyone's ideas. I think there's some really beautiful ways that like the practical stuff could come together. So I'm super open to if anyone wants to collaborate, or if I can just jump on someone else's project to see how it goes.
Wicked. Congratulations, Lisa. When are you due?
Well, in May, which is why I'm not doing the whole year. So I'm going to do it right up until
Fair enough.
End of April, and then I'll waddle off and
you have another pretty epic quest to undertake at that point. Who's that? Sparks and Vera? I think that's right. Yeah. Sparks, do you want to go?
Is like no an acceptable answer? Just kidding. Hi, I'm Sparks. I'm in Portland, Oregon, in the US. I don't know what it's honestly, this conversation is like equally inspiring and like anxiety inducing for me, because I started having too many ideas. Now I have like at least 25 to 500 more. So I don't know what I'm doing yet, but they're kind of all over the place. Like, okay, guys, we have everything from intentional versus accidental collage game show to tarot inspired Valentine's card collages to sculptures of collage about the affordable housing crisis in Portland to climate change inspired anatomy poetry to Portland street fashion recreated in collage. Like, I could keep going. There are too many. And they're very different. But I think I'll have a better idea after I marinate on them a little bit more. And all of these wonderful ideas that came up today, y'all are amazing. Oh, and yeah, okay, I'm gonna stop. There's too many. Okay, the end. Bye.
I started trying to write those down and stopped after the tarot Valentine's Day cards. But those are awesome. Hopefully the QuestLab can be the sieve for your ideas and you can just sieve the gold out. And Vera, last but not least.
Hi everyone, I'm Vera. I am based in Berlin and I also don't really know what I'm going to do, but for me, I think it's more important to get into the practice of creating. So it's not so much like the end result or what exactly I'm going to be working on, but more like getting working at all. So I do like the idea of co-creating and co-working, maybe even in a virtual space, but maybe getting just that regular exchange, getting some different way. And one thing that I like from the first month is this idea of music, listening to music, and then putting a collage on it. So I could just imagine going for the whole month just listening to my favorite songs and just making them into collages. It's similar to like that emotion, just very simple, because I'm also like super overwhelmed and super inspired, but also super overwhelmed by all these ideas. So I think I'm just gonna pick something and go with it. But also I know I have the whole year, so this is just starting out.
That is a lovely idea. That is a really, really lovely idea. Thank you very much, Vera. Holy moly. Any nerves I had about this not being good are gone. This is epic. I'm very, very excited and inspired by all of this. I'll be working on the pop-up in London over this month. That's kind of my project and Tiz's too. So yeah, we're going to be working on that. Anyone that wants to contribute, maybe we can even have, for people that create things that are more virtual, maybe we can even have a part of the pop-up in London that people can engage with that's, a more kind of virtual aspect, or we could even create, maybe there is an online experience that people can do too. Let's see how this month plays out. Amazing. Was there anything that anybody wanted to say, any notes after that before we're going to jump out into some breakout rooms and just chat on each other's ideas a bit deeper? Anything? No. Okay, there was, just because that overrun a little bit longer than I thought it was going to, in a totally brilliant way. There is a thing that I wanted to touch on about illuminations. This is more for people that kind of don't have their ideas so much though, or kind of exploring different paths. But I'll send the notes in the wrap-up email because I think you could easily just do it in your spare time. And I'd much prefer that we have more time to chat to each other in breakout rooms. But I will just say very, very quickly that, yeah, your illuminations list from last month, so often for me in the past with Creative Quests, it has been in those lists that there have been not whole entity ideas, finished product ideas, but fragments of ideas. Sometimes there's one illumination from one month and another illumination from another month that somehow just work together like a puzzle that you found two random pieces of and they just fit somehow, like a collage, you might say. So yeah, look at that list. Maybe you've got some ideas from the past, things that way before Creative Quest that you've been sitting on, that you've been thinking, oh, one day I'd love to do that thing. Maybe there's something that you came across last month that is a missing piece for that idea. So yeah, take a look at your illuminations list and keeping them. Inspiration is perishable, even though that we're out of the Quest Life kind of part of this month, last month. Inspiration is everywhere. We always have ideas. We so often don't write these things down because we think we're going to remember them, and we so rarely do. So please, for all of our sakes, start an illuminations list. All right, we're going to go into breakout rooms for let's say just at like 15 to 17 minutes. We're going to go into breakout room 17 minutes, and this is really just a chance to dig deeper into everybody's ideas. We are going to make how many rooms? 3 to 4. Okay, there's gonna be three people in each room, and I just want you to chat through your ideas a little bit deeper. You've heard what people are kind of thinking of, so just split the time that you have. There'll be, let's call it 15 minutes. Everybody's got 5 minutes each, so if somebody could keep time, that would be great. And then we'll come back here and we'll talk about the week ahead. Will make sense? Yeah, wicked. All right, I'll see you in 15.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hello,
Hello.
don't mind me. Don't mind me.
Yes. It just like shows up in a black screen and it's
Yeah.
like, now you're being recorded. Don't mind me.
Sorry
An
about
idea
that.
just came to my mind, an idea with everything we've thought, and it's that like 4 years ago, I thought in like, okay, I was thinking, how can I do better the world through creation and stuff, and I thought to myself, maybe clothes industry is very polluting, and I wanted to create my own clothes. Maybe if I taught people how to create their own clothes, could help them to not buy so many clothes in big industries and stuff. So I took a lot of things from my house, like blankets and from the kitchen, from everywhere, carpets, and I created my own trouser. And then I wore it, but I think this idea, I don't know, I could see it more with the lenses of collage, because actually that's collage, taking all these things and creating a new thing. And maybe this idea can, I don't know, enlighten us to how can we use collage to make impact. And that's an idea.
Well, maybe Diego, you can have your recycled sustainability fashion show with proceeds benefiting something or another. You could just make clothes out of what's in your house, or like go out on the streets of wherever, Spain, and get shit, make stuff.
Yeah.
It goes all the way back to your whole memory that you shared of childhood of like wanting to do more like silly dress up, like,
Yeah.
you know, that kind of, I mean, talk about finding your voice.
It's therapeutic, actually. Yeah.
I think, Hannah, you were mentioning like all the research bits, and like if you didn't know if those would even be like exciting or whatever. I don't know if we've talked about this. We have the same kind of career line, and I do research too. And there's like all my ideas that were like around what collage inspired like research studies would look like, and like mural workshops and stuff like that. I think it still could be super fun, like to do something really nerdy like that.
Okay, I do. Yeah, I remember we should talk more about the specific research, but that's really cool.
Yeah.
I sent a link through the chat about upcycling clothes. It's actually a thing. A lot of people, I guess, around the world, or I don't know, are doing this, taking old clothes and then remaking them in a way. And some of them, they sell them. Some of them, they just keep them, and it's kind of what they show off in social media and whatnot. But it's something that you could look at. There's a big community already doing a little bit about this. Not only clothes, but there's a lot of things you can upcycle. It's kind of the term upcycling.
Okay, thank you.
No
Because
problem.
it goes,
This is like sisterhood of the traveling pants.
yeah, because you can, I mean, you can recycle everything, actually.
Yeah.
Do you still have the trousers, Diego?
Yeah.
Let's see them. What the heck?
But I don't have them here. I have them in
Oh.
our house, but I have a picture, so I can share it with you
Do
afterwards. Yeah.
Do you have the big coat? Can we see the big coat? I'm just curious.
And it's
I'm asking
okay. Yeah, no, but I will send also a picture because it's beautiful. It's so beautiful.
I really want to see. I want to see.
Amazing. Tiz, what are you doing? Are you doing a project?
I'm doing the event with Sam.
Oh, right. Do y'all know what you're wanting to do for that yet?
Yes, we want to do a bunch of activities, different challenges, such as a Dadaist poem, and we want to have like different stations where people can create things.
Oh, fun.
But yeah, well, right now we are in the mission of finding a place because the place that we had in mind, unfortunately, cannot do it. So that's the bigger challenge, I guess, because with all the things that we have been learning throughout this month with you guys, I think we have more than enough to cover a one-day event.
Yeah.
However, yeah, I guess it's the logistics, the tricky bit, but we'll see.
Is it gonna be in London?
Yeah, it's gonna be in London. I think we're gonna take off very soon, guys.
Yeah.
Ross might have locations. She's like a producer over there, right?
Yeah, she's gonna help us, definitely.
Oh, cool.
Yes, it's under control, even though it is not.
Such is life, right?
Does anybody want to say something else in these last minutes that we have, or not?
I mean, well, I want to know if which areas do you reach about activism? So I don't know. I want to also think about it because I really like the idea of making the world better through collage. How that would be possible.
I shared a link in the main group in the main chat about.
Awesome. Hope you all got to dig into each other's ideas a little bit further. I realized when I jumped into the breakout room that I missed somebody out of the of going around the room, and I feel terrible about it. So gonna hand over to our finale. Thank you. Sorry, I don't want to put the pressure on you. Handing over to Christy to have her time to talk about, you know, the ideas that she's currently working with.
All right, too much pressure.
Sorry.
So as I kind of mentioned in the breakout room, I've been reading the Collage care book that Sam sent around and kind of been drawing ideas from there. And as I mentioned in my group, I really enjoy reading poetry and inspirational statements. And so kind of seeing how I can take and play poetry and kind of the inspirational statements and intersect that with collage. And Sam actually gave me some great tips that the Collage magazine is actually working on a project with poetry and collage. So I'm excited to check that out and see how I can leverage some of that.
Amazing. Yeah, there's I was saying to Christy in the breakout room, there's some interesting stuff out there about the fact that so many well-known poets actually are also collage artists. It seems like there's some kind of unwritten link between the two. So if you can tell us why that is in a month's time, Christy, I'd be very grateful. Awesome. That's nearly it for session one. This much like the first session of month one, this is really just about kind of assessing the land. If we're kind of use the farming metaphor, yeah, this is very much about just like seeing what's going on in the land, thinking about what seeds we might want to plant, and over the course of this next week, it's much more about actually like planting those seeds, and we'll go further down that process as the weeks go by. Yeah, so there's not really a huge amount of tasks for this week. I would say that it would be great if you could reach out to anyone whose idea has resonated with you, because maybe a kind of a collaboration or just supporting each other is on the cards. Your main sort of challenge for this week is to give your project a working title. I'll send this in the session notes, by the way. I don't have an image to share with you right now, but it will be in the roundup. Give your project a working title, give it an identity, give it a name. As soon as you give something a name, it automatically begins to start taking on a life of its own, because you can talk about it as that thing, you know, and over time, it will become more than a name. You'll be able to visualize it a bit more. You'll be able to find language and vocabulary for this idea. And, you know, when other people start talking about not just your idea, but, you know, XYZ project, whatever you called it, it just, once it's out in the world kind of starts having its way with it. So have this, you know, give this project a working title. And over the course this week, just start thinking about if you can give it a brief description. It doesn't have to be like an elevator pitch, like super pristine. This description can change, but once you've got your working title and your brief description of what it is, just a few sentences, post it into the QuestLab Slack channel, which you're going to get invited to straight after this session. And basically over the course of this week, hopefully we're going to see people's project names and the brief descriptions underneath them coming in. And I want you to each kind of jump into the threads of each other's ideas. And just, if there's anything that comes to mind, like somebody else, like another project that's in the similar world, or an idea that you've personally had that you could contribute, just send some good energy, some constructive ideas into the threads of that person's project description and working title, just to see what happens over this week. And yeah, and let's just get that kind of QuestLab Slack up and moving. If you come across things across, you know, past the first time that you've added into somebody else's thread, keep adding to them. We're going to pin everybody's initial working title and brief descriptions in the chat, so you can sort of jump back to them quite easily. And if something comes to mind later down the line, you can just add it into somebody else's thread. And we've also created a project template for you all. Well, Tiz has made this. If you want to put that in the chat, Tiz.
Yes, just as a brief comment, of course,
Yeah.
You're going to see and might get overwhelmed by everything that's written over there, but just focus on what applies to your project. Of course, if it's something very personal or more simple, you don't really need to go through all the stages or pay attention to the little details. But in case you want to do something more ambitious, I think that document covers more or less the whole, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. And just like this, even as a document, like if you're using it for this or now or in future, when you're bringing projects together, this is like a seriously amazing document to get your ideas like off the ground, prototyped, tested, out there with people. So yeah, thank you very, very much, Tiz. I was pretty amazed at how quickly Tiz made this document. I was like, oh my God. So yeah, everybody also has their own space in the
Notion.
In the Notion now. Let's just get that up too. Yeah, if you click on personal journal there, this is all still within the Jan Feb column down the side of the Notion. There's two sections: the Quest Life journals, that's for the other group, the QuestLab projects. If you press the little across arrow next to that, you'll see that it drops down to everybody's names. We just put people's project descriptions that they put in the forms next to them at the moment. This is a fully editable page, so you can edit this as you will, whether you want to change your project name at any point. That's totally fine. And when you click into this, it also has the a version of the kind of project template thing that Tiz has sent across. But this area It's yours to use as you please. You should all have editing access to all of this. If you don't, oh yeah, you do. You have full editing access. If you just want to use this as a place to kind of like a personal communal journal, personal journal, use this as you please to bring your projects to life. And from week 2, we will be having half an hour in these main rooms, and then we'll be doing a full hour in breakout rooms, working on each other's ideas. And there'll probably be 3-4 people per group. If there's any sort of collaborations emerging over the next week, please just let us know in the Slack so we know to put you in the same breakout room, because that would be kind of silly if we put different people in different breakout rooms and you're working on the same project. And that is pretty much it. There's a few minutes left if anyone's got any questions, thoughts.
I just want to share my friend Caroline's going to join us next month. I'm really pleased.
Love
Yay.
it.
She's awesome. She lives in Amsterdam. She's fab.
Wicked. If anybody else has friends that want to join, we've got plenty of spaces free. So yeah, we're starting the promotion for March, April now, pretty much. So yeah, anybody that you can promote Creative Quests to would be greatly appreciated. Yeah, any other thoughts, questions?
Yeah, so this came out of a breakout room from Sparks and Leah last month, where I didn't get to writing about it, but I thought it could be fun if I actually said it out loud. Maybe it'll happen now because I'll hold myself accountable. But if anyone feels like maybe spending a Sunday, I thought we could all make a pizza online, and we make each slice a different topping. So it's a collage pizza, and then we can all have a meal together of collage pizza. If anyone would like to join in, I think it could be really fun and funny and tasty. And yeah, I would love to do it with some of you if anyone's down.
Hell yes. Collage pizza party. Breakfast pizza for some, yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Yeah, put it in the chat. Let's make it happen.
Cool.
Awesome. I think that is pretty much it. We're literally going to invite you into this QuestLab chat as soon as this is finished. This has been honestly incredible. I was really quite nervous before this, and you have all absolutely lit me up with your incredible ideas. I cannot believe the spectrum of stuff that we're working with here. So yeah, big love to you all. And yeah, this week really just start. You've put this out in the world now. You've told people that what you're curious about, what your ideas are. For those that have a little bit less of an idea of the things they want to explore, please make sure you kind of look into the notes I send out tomorrow, because there's some more stuff in there about kind of digging into the stuff that inspired you last month and how that might translate into an idea this month. Awesome. Thanks, everybody.
All right, bye.
See you next week. See you in the Slack.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Peace out. Thank you.